I did a frame, and that frame was a wrapped frame that Bowtie Connection was doing. They were building a 63 Impala called Knucklehead, Knucklehead 63.
Correct.
And they said, hey, we see that what you're doing in your garage, in your backyard, not even a garage, it was a carport. Hey, we see what you're painting, this and that. We want you to paint some stuff for us. Can you paint an engine and transmission? We saw what you did. So I painted an engine and transmission for them. And they're like, hey, this is really good. Would you paint a car frame? I go, bro, I got a full-time job. I got this. And they're like, no, but we really would like you to do it. So, all right, cool. We'll do it. And let me fast forward. So I do the frame. I work on the frame on and off during time. The frame gets painted. They assemble the frame. It gets pinstriped at that time by Clay. Okay, Clay was a long-time pinstriper.
Yeah, he pinstriped and leafed it, right?
Yeah, he pinstriped and leafed it in the garage. And it got to the show. And it really changed a lot of people's perspective of who I am, because a lot of people at that time were buying from me but didn't believe I knew anything about paint, because I would tell them, hey, I was selling to Mo and a couple other custom shops. And I was like, hey, bro, you guys should do this, you do that, try out this clear. And they will be like, no, just like kind of like washing it off.
Right.
Not knowing that I was doing this way before for a restoration shop and all that. And then I really got tired of it. I find like you really have to love it.
Yeah.
And I felt like getting paid to work on cars I didn't want to work on. That was my hang up. Like, oh, great, now I got to
You lose the passion. That's what happened to me.
Yeah.
I love cars, but when I was working on them at a shop full time, all the time, you lose the love for it.
Yeah. And, bro, I just walked away. So we ended up doing this frame, and the frame to from one, I didn't think anything of it. I know when the owner picked it up and Large picked it up, Ben and Large, they were like, holy shit, this looks amazing.
Yeah. It looked beautiful.
And I was like, okay, it's just a frame. I just did what I always do. And then it goes to the show, and they display the frame just as a frame with wheels and all that. And it creates a lot of buzz, a lot more buzz than I expected. And the two painters that I was dealing with at the time were like, you did that. Yeah, of course. You saw it. You follow me on my personal Instagram. I document it from beginning to end. So there's no nothing.
So there's no doubt.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And then you can see how everything kind of flipped.
Right.
And then when I recommended things like, hey guys, you should do this and that, they're like, hey, what's that clear you used on the frame? Hey, where's that? And I didn't west side and buff that frame. That frame got delivered exactly.
Yeah, there was no time.
No, there was no time. Yeah, because I think the frame got painted, and they picked up the frame. I painted the frame, differential, a bunch of parts.
They pulled like an all-nighter to get that to the show.
Yeah. So I think that must have been a week. Okay, so here's a good example. So check this out. This picture, make sure it's the same. Yeah. This is the picture of Ben's frame. This was a carport.
That's how he had it.
Well, he brought it to me. The frame was in some epoxy primer. I had a carport that wasn't there. And during that time, remember I told you I was building a garage around Ben's frame?
Oh, yeah.
So that was a carport, and then we tore up my backyard. We built a bigger roof. And I was sandblasted the frame, and I started to do all the body work there. Go to another picture of the frame, Manny. There should be a picture of it in the garage. All right, cool. You see SPI in the box in the back?
Oh, yeah.
There should be another one of body work. I have to put in a selfie some.
Selfie.
I know.
Were you doing duck face under the mask?
Maybe. That was it. In that time, I think that was it. So you can see the concrete still fresh. And that's already after I sandblasted, epoxied it, and then you can see. So we did the body work. Now you can go to any of the other pictures of the framing, and let's see here. What's the next one? It's hard to focus. There we go. So this is his frame on the rotisserie and my frame in the background of my 64 C10. That's already, if I'm not mistaken, that's cleared. Or is that? That might have been in between getting cleared or not, or it cleared. Yeah, that's already cleared, because I remember I washed it from everything. So put a picture. I got 2 pictures of it assembled. Boom.
There you go.
So this was the frame that really put me on a local map, like
for people to respect your knowledge.
But it ties into the story with Double Trouble. So Double Trouble, Bobby came up to my booth. That they remembered me from the year before. At this time, they weren't working with Chino. Chino wasn't in the equation, if I'm not mistaken. They come up to me and they say, how much for the frame? I go, well, the frame goes, yeah, the orange frame. I go, I don't own that orange frame. I did the body work and painted it. Goes, who owns the frame? And I tell them, so this guy, I describe Ben. Right. And they go find Ben. And they try to buy the frame. They tell you, hey, we'll give you, I think, $20,000 for the frame, as is. Yeah.
Wait, just...
As is, yeah.
The frame with the suspension.
Yeah,
like
yeah. What you see right there in that picture. Yeah, you see, look, certified gangsters in the back.
Yeah.
And then that's the frame. And they said, we'll give you 20. I think it was 20 or 25,000, you know. But it's one of those two, well, for the frame. Ben goes, no, I'm not going to sell the frame because I want to build the car. Yeah. So that's the first year.
Did he have the car? Or?
No, the car was still being built, but
he had the body, but he was building from the bottom up.
Yeah, from the ground up. So it's a process, dude. It's a lot of
frame,
work.
And then he was going to start building the body.
Yeah. So I painted on that frame. Go back to the other picture, Manny, for me, please. I'll tell you the things I did not paint on that frame. The upper control arms.
Well, the black stuff. Everything is black.
No, because I had to paint. No, the valve covers I painted. So
everything that's engraved.
Yeah, correct. So the spring I didn't paint, but everything else you see that's painted, and the control arms I didn't paint. The hydraulic cylinders I painted black. The valve covers, the engine, the.
You basically didn't do the uppers, the lowers, and the trailing arms.
Correct. Yeah, because they were engraved. Yeah. They were engraved, and then they were powder coated clear, and the springs. That whole car, completely, we painted everything on it. The car looks phenomenal. I mean, the frame looks phenomenal. So that's the first year we got Bobby, and they said they wanted to do that. Later on, Double Trouble starts to compete. Yep. The frame is still being showed. That changed everything for me because people started taking me more serious. They go, this guy, and I told Ben, and Ben's the owner, I go, Ben, why is there so much buzz on this frame? And later on, we'll talk about it. We could show detailed pictures. And he was like, bro, it's perfect. It's smooth. There's no grind marks, everything. I go, yeah, I grinded everything because I go, the frame needs to look perfect. He goes, I didn't see a single grind mark. And I'm like, so.
Yeah, when that frame came out, other people that were building cars were like, okay, got to step it up on the frame.
Yeah. Then I started looking around, and I noticed the hydraulic frames for cars were like really popcorn. Like they'll leave the big popcorn welds and stuff like that. So that one I smoothed out.
Or they were just grinding. They were just like molding the welds, but they weren't finishing it with body, like filler, no high build primer, nothing like that.
Yeah. So, and it would be great because when we have Ben on the show, we can talk about this too.
Yep.
And then another thing is the frame. You know, these Impala frames from factory have the ripples, and then when they wrap them, the wrap matches the ripples. On this frame, I blocked that whole frame, so the two arches on top and the arches on the bottom and the sides where the ripple is that they had like dimples. There's no dimples. This frame is completely smooth, perfect, not a single wave and everything.